Welcome to the crypto kingdom, guys. It's London, guys. A very interesting day in the market. I have Bitcoin up right now. For those of you who are new, please hit the subscribe button. I'm a former financial professional, not financial advice, but yeah, I spent years in and around finance, investment banking, things like that. Certified in markets and management from Duke University, etc. Worked across the table from Harvard Foundation on some key deals when I was younger, preparing return estimates, things like that. Just highly analytical. I enjoy bringing all of you the top in terms of, guys, technical analysis into the crypto space. So we're excited today. Shout out in the comments, guys. I'd appreciate that. Let me know that the volume is okay. Now, we have a very difficult patterning, guys. Difficult pattern right now on the screen. You're like, yeah, we understand that. This has been a very interesting last few. Let's just go ahead and look at this, guys. Last few weeks. We're at a month now. This has been a real difficult range for a lot of people, and I just want to let you guys know today is a little bit about encouragement, right? It's the 3rd. We're in 2022. I want to let you guys know that this happens in crypto. We get in frustrated zones, right? As part of the equation, right? We have the ups, we have the downs. Bitcoin has had a great overall, I'd say, last 12 months plus, guys. It's been a real phenomenal success story. We're going to go over some altcoins as well today. We will go over Near, we'll go over Phantom, we'll go over One, we'll go over, guys, we'll go over a lot of coins later on, but I just want to plug in right now and make sure that you guys are tuned into the technicals in terms of Bitcoin. Let me just dig in here, guys. What's the current price at? 46,416. Bit of a pour down yesterday. We're on the daily candles right now. Let me take care of this volume. Let me take that in terms of the overall price action. And let's see what we have. A little bit of commentary. Hope you're doing well. Are you currently bullish or bearish on the overall lower time frames? Hey, Ryan from Wyoming. What's going on, Ryan? Nice to see you. Appreciate you being here, Ryan. Shout out to all the VIP. Definitely want to shout out to the VIP. It is a brand new year, and we're just excited in terms of what 2022 is going to bring. We caught Bitcoin here, boom, right? We were kicking up bull signals in and around this area. It was just a phenomenal time to be in the market and around that 29,750. So we're looking towards catching the bottom again. That's why I have, essentially why I have laid out, and I hope you guys had a great new year, by the way. I hope you guys did well with your family and friends, etc. Glad to know that you guys are, I know, you focused on technicals. Gosh, the back room, we have some great indicators working, some really nice dynamics in terms of the overall outlook for 2022. We're going to be looking forward to volatility. I'm going to say that absolutely. One of the key focals, and I want to bring up Luna. Very interesting, extremely interesting on Luna. I'm going to, I tell you, we brought a video, and just pay attention to this. It applies to all the coins right now. I really believe what happened. We formulated this reversal pattern that was necessary. It looks like we're picking up after a fallout of a rising wedge. But the interesting thing, let's go ahead and dig in. I just want to show you guys this. I know so many people who are, guys, who are, let's go session volume, there we go, who are currently trading ETFs, right? Everyone is in the ETF market. It's like if you're going to trade the coin, you have to buy it on leverage, right? Well, look what that did. Take a look at Luna. I think you guys will appreciate this. If you can see, look at the volume at the bottom. Guys, very interesting. The preceding run up, we had nice volume, nice push. Yeah, nice. We're going to the upside, absolutely, on this move, about 100% previously. Look at this. Boom, to the upside. Now, what happened here? It's like I think everyone in the market decided, well, we're just going to buy ETFs. And in terms of the price action, trying to get it to the upside, it was just a struggle. I looked back at the volume. I was discussing this with AJ. Shout out to AJ. Hey, Big Freddie in the house. What's going on, Freddie? Nice to see you, brother. Very nice to see you, as always. Looking forward to you joining VIP. It's not the same without you, period. You know that? I don't know if you know that. Everyone else knows that, but you should definitely know that. In terms of the volume, just check out Luna. Look at this. Just absolutely almost zero. Cut, dry, bam. Why? Because everyone that I know literally entered into a Luna trade on leverage. Well, guys, when we do that, there's no volume purchase to push the price up. So in terms of that, I just want you guys to see, look at this great volume. Bam. Huge green candles. Bam, bam. And here it's just completely dry, right? So as we're looking at this, the overall dynamics, we know the traders involved, right? It's you guys, it's me, etc. And what do? Well, everyone wants just to, we want to fly into leverage. Well, what happens? Luna's a great example. Same thing's happening on Bitcoin right now. As you look at Bitcoin, let's just revisit this. As we look at the market dynamics, and it's just been frustrating. I'll say that, the dynamic that has presented itself to me continually has been the following. I will get into a trade. I'll take the last 10 trades, literally, that I've gotten into have been positive. Literally, the last 10, period, have been positive. But what is it doing to me? It's offering me about 1.5, 2.5, maybe 3.5 or 4%. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, I want to make 10, 15% on this trade. No, it's not going to do that. It's going to push me to take, okay, great, I'm going to make 4% on my trade. I don't want to make 4% on my trade. It's just been consistent. I'm telling you, the last 10 trades have all been positive. I've looked at it like, no. I'm at the point now, and it's just interesting. It must be happening with you too. We're in such a tight range with Bitcoin, especially recently. It's like we're looking for more profit, we're looking for more gain, and it's just forcing us just to take, right? And that's one of the hardest things to do. It's like, it's not as much as I want. It's not the entirety of it. Well, they're going to charge you to get in and out of the trade. You can cut at a stop loss. You'll still pay the spread. You guys know that. You'll still pay the spread on the order book. And it's like, so the lesson that I'm learning, and again, in a tight market, this is one of the tightest markets that we have had. I'm just going to tell you, look at this. It is just chiseled in here on Bitcoin. So in terms of that, look at the pattern on the screen. Like, do you guys want to day trade this? It's like, it's tight, admittedly tight. There's not much positive price action. We had a relief bow, bam. The hit to the upside here was nice. That was a nice move. We caught that bull flag, brought it to you guys in terms of a video. Was excited about that. About a 13% move on Bitcoin. It's like, but as I was talking, let's see. I was going to bring up this issue in terms of volume. In terms of the volume, just look at the low volume that we've had throughout the remainder of the year, okay, in comparison, in 2021, okay, in comparison to this nice volume that we had, bam, 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 bam. Look at all this volume here, absolutely. In early 2021, look at it, just crash down. Very low volume, just nothing to speak of in here. Well, it's the ETFs, guys. It's everybody on leverage. And the guys, they're great when the market is sizzling, when there is enough. When there's enough in the market to carry our leverage positions, it's fine. But as you look at this, and I brought up Luna because I really feel that happened yesterday and last night. We completed a great pattern. I brought that up for everybody for the review. I was excited about it. You guys probably saw. I was like, yeah, it's a fan. And I want you guys to be aware of this specific pattern because it did play out quite well. I was really interested in it. We have the volume indicator on here. Let me go ahead and take that off. But yeah, we were looking at the reversal pattern, a fan pattern. I thought it was just really interesting. Let me go ahead and take this wedge off. Just tuck this away in your what would you say, your TA toolkit, right? When you have a fan pattern, right? When you see this type of a pattern developing, a lot of times you see it and you don't know quite what to make of it. Is it, kind of a cup and handle formation? What is it? But the rounding here, that's a fan pattern. Typical reversal pattern. We were looking for once again, guys, the volume to pick up. But again, everyone that I know almost now, guys, in terms of the VIP, etc., trading on leverage. Absolutely, right? And let's see. You don't need forgiveness at all, brother. It's all good. In 2022, we have paved new roads, haven't we? Absolutely, huh? We're over that yesterday before it happened. How about that? That's the way it is. If something happens today, we're over that yesterday before it happened. That's kind of the VIP way to be. You guys got that, right? So anytime, all the time, guys. We appreciate all of you community members, etc. And just the truth, Freddie. I'm telling you the truth. The VIP know you. We know you. It's not the same without you back there. So we have cleaned up the rooms. You guys know that. We got exploited, huh? I don't want to say hacked, but we had some Hong Kongers. They're from Hong Kong, so Hong Kongers, like Texans or New Yorkers. We had Hong Kongers. Somebody came in and started pilfering our information out to Hong Kong. I was like, oh man. So I'm all over Facebook in Hong Kong or whatever's going on. We had to clean up the rooms in the back. We have our new look and everything. Really cool. I want you guys to see. I like this. Boom. Right? Little Ferrari action. That's kind of our motif. If I can scale back. There we go. I like the Ferrari. I want to see, good things for VIP in 2022. What we focus on we should attract it. Now, this shouldn't be too hard. I think my friends have seen me drive in my old Ferrari, and they're probably like, it's a good thing London doesn't have a Ferrari right now. I'll just tell you, I like on a Ferrari. I don't know. I've done some semi-pro driving, and I like being able to drive a Ferrari. It's well built enough, just so you guys know. You can drive it and skid it sideways at 180 miles an hour on the freeway. going across 4 lanes of traffic. You can brake the front wheels. It will drive. It's that well constructed. Just so you guys know, they're literally, it's not just, well, it's a lot of money for a car. They're just very well built. Now, I would not recommend anyone take a Ferrari or any car and drive it drifting sideways 4 lanes of traffic across on a freeway. Please don't do that. I liked to do that, okay, in my Ferrari. So irrespective, right? Maybe there's a reason that right now I'm not just drifting on the open toll roads, like, you know, just maybe a nightmare for everybody. Plenty of video of me driving that thing. So as we'll say, you know, there's a time and place for everything. So if and when you guys do get one, I expect you to be responsible. All right, we're going to do that. We're going to expect you to be responsible, right? I've got a Range Rover now. I kind of chill out, not drifting like used to. So as we look at this, guys, as we look at this fan formation, we did complete this. It was exciting. Even this move to the upside was looking for the volume to come in, and the buyers. I'm just going to tell you, I really believe the entirety of 2021, etc. As you look it down here at this level, it's the same story, right? Where is the volume pickup? Well, people are on leverage. So as we diagnose and as we look into the market, if your returns aren't there, just understand it. Maybe the phenomenon that we're facing right now is a lot of leverage, right? I mean, we have everything from the guys at JP Morgan, etc., BlackRock, wherever those investment houses may be that are involved. We would just anticipate that a lot of them are trading options. A lot of them are into they're just, you know, they're in the mix in terms of their approach to the market is on leverage, margin, etc. So that actual coin isn't being picked up. As we look at Bitcoin, the actual coin isn't being traded. It's just contracts behind the coins. Very interesting. So we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Also, in terms of the approach, we've gone through a few different, I'd say a lot of different technicals over the last few days. I put some really great technicals into the back rooms for the VIP. Let's go to Bitcoin on the daily with some different technicals on them. And I'll let those guys, I'll let you guys just kind of remain with those specific technicals. Let me make sure that this is not inverted. There we go. This is a nice, nicely laid out chart here. I like the, you know, the different channels that we have established here in terms of the price action, etc., kind of the bounds, the mid-level ranges, the support, the resistance. As you guys take a good look at this chart specifically, you'll see kind of an upper threshold. And there's a lot going on in this chart. Once you guys really familiarize yourself with the different technical indicators, you'll start to see, okay, and I can formulate in here, I can really diagnose in terms of the entirety of this is the Bitcoin daily chart. I can see, yeah, the upper threshold, the upper bound. I can see this green line in here. This green line seems to be kind of important in terms of carrying the price up in this area and around, and that was around that all-time prior high that we had, that 65,000. Absolutely. So I can see that green line coming into effect here, this mid-level line. So these are some technical indicators, even as you follow this down through this area. So kind of a line of resistance in here, popping back through to a mid-level function, serving as a resistance to support back in terms of this channel formation. So these are not EMAs, right? But as we look at that, it's technically important to be able to use all of the technical indicators to your advantage, right? And we never want to be over-reliant on any specific technical indicator. So this is a kind of a busy-looking chart, but if you guys in the back, if you have seen those, you'll see some different indicated lines even below that have served as resistance and support along the way. I want you guys to plug into that and really spend some time with your technical indicators. Let's really refine our approach in 2022. If you, when I say confirmation, you guys know that all the time. Confirmation is, right, all of the technical indicators, all of the time frames, etc. So we're looking forward to you guys kind of really becoming more sophisticated in your approach as you look at day trading. And what's the key, guys? Never being overexposed, right? In terms of that, big shout out to AJ Crypto. I have to shout out to AJ Crypto. One of the things I love about AJ, I just know for a fact, is like when I say heavy reserve capital, it's heavy reserve capital, right? If you've got an amount that's being traded or worked in this area, in this zone, well, there's I'd say maybe an understanding that that could be carried down to the next level, etc. Not overexposed, not just leveraging in, launching in, not getting, pardon me, guys, overly anxious in this area, right? Very interesting market right now. A lot of development in the space in terms of the overall entirety of crypto. I heard some speeches going on yesterday about someone talking about IRAs, this and that with their 401k and what to transfer in and out for tax advantages and purposes. I'm like, man, crypto just all of a sudden got boring, didn't it? Honestly, it was like a real, sophisticated channel of someone talking, and I'm like, man, I don't want to hear about the 401k. I don't want to hear about the retirement account and the transfer. I mean, come on. It's okay, but I enjoy this, not the. What is it, guys? I enjoyed Dogecoin. I enjoyed SHIB. I enjoyed like the phenomenons of 2021, right? The run up, like just the massive bam of Bitcoin. I just, it was a phenomenal sensation. You guys remember in 2021, just when we saw, this was what was so cool. When we all saw, and I think this interested a lot of people, aside from the popular meme coins and everything else, people saw Bitcoin in 2021. You guys remember? You saw Bitcoin, and it had formed its first bull flag. It was all over the news. People started looking at the charts, and they're like, what is this? And I can see it kind of doing this and this. And so people got real attracted into technical analysis, right? Absolutely, right? They got excited about technical analysis when they started to see formations and patterns. So it was not all just a meme coin factory. It wasn't all just this ultimate hype of what are the masses going to buy next. No, it really started off with Bitcoin, and I think for a lot of people, guys, maybe the excitement. And I'll say this about Elon Musk. You guys know, I think Elon brought a lot of people into crypto who otherwise wouldn't be involved in crypto, even with like a Dogecoin and let's say Bitcoin, definitely. But they were with the understanding, well, there's a real businessman behind one of these projects. We want to see kind of what he can do. So as I thought back on 2021. I thought, he was a big reason why a lot of people probably got involved at all in crypto. Well, there's one of the major business leaders. He's extremely successful. Let's see. I think he could do good with a project. So the more, that business leaders like that, a little bit, what would you say, off the cuff he is, to say the least, right? So, but as we talk about the technicals, and I appreciate having him involved in crypto. I just do. Business leaders who really, just get themselves out there, right, and decide, well, this is what we're going to do in the space. This is what we're going to, this is what crypto is going to be. Pay attention, right? So we're looking for those leaders in the community in 2021. But I'll never forget, guys, really starting to discuss this with some other investors, etc., and saying, this is a really nice pattern formation in Bitcoin at the beginning of 2021, right? So we started to pay attention to the technicals, right, in crypto, which I think was really, it wasn't just buy the dip. It's going to $1 million, buy the dip. No, it really started to become, well, we have a channel formation. People like, and whether or not you could, people started to explore on TradingView, right? And it's like, okay, there's a, and this is the pro premium edition of TradingView, right? So you guys rest assured, I have all the technical indicators we could ever want. But in terms of that, people started to say, okay, I can download TradingView, or I can go to the website. I can see, yes, there's a channel formation. Here's a trend line. I'll draw a trend line. And so the area has become a lot more sophisticated, and I just give credit to Bitcoin for that. As we look at the technical indicators, like, why do we focus on Bitcoin? It's not an altcoin, etc. Well, we focus on it because it's been that mainstay that a lot of people got acquainted with who maybe didn't have, and you guys, you didn't potentially have a background in trading, but when you started to see things like this in early 2021, you're like, that makes sense. That is a channel. This is a rounding a top formation, right? This is maybe a double or triple top, and then we have something called retracements, right? So, as we look at the big picture, as we start to identify the different aspects and components of trading, it's just that's part of our story, right? As a channel, as a group, as individuals, it's like, we're able to pay more attention to those now. We're able to communicate as a group right now. And it means a lot to me for you guys to be in the back, etc. It's just the truth because, the crypto story, lack of regulation, right? A developing space. So where is it heading? If people want me to pull out of my back pocket and just say, well, in 3 months, country X, Y, or Z is going to ban crypto. I mean, people want a prognostication. What I'm going to say is we always rely on the technical indicators. We always focus on those because that's essentially, along with our strategy, that's going to, it's going to take the guesswork out of things. So as we would look at this, we're currently in a very constricted space here in terms of Bitcoin. This falling wedge just within, I'd say contraindicated, but what I want to do, let's draw this line down here. I just want to show you how difficult this has been in terms of just, it's been a tough trading environment. I think you guys will agree with that. Let me go ahead and put the, let's extend this channel framework here, and I will bolden this line up just a touch so we can go through kind of what the expectations are technically of the market right now. I want to focus on that specifically. We are literally riding the line, okay? This is a very, very interestingly difficult line for us to be just chiseled into right now, guys. If you want to carry over this line of resistance from the first two hits at around that about 51,900 to this 50,000 about 900 thereabout. But as we would extend that specific line, I just want to show you guys what's being done right now in the price action. If we extend this line down here, we're just literally just riding that line right now. We can get out the, we can get out the lock to function, that magnet on the left-hand side. That's the lock to function. That will lock. Then you can always double-click and you can right extend the line. Okay, if you guys are accustomed to doing that or not, let's just do it real quick. That magnet function. Okay, just so you know what it is. Draw that trend line and bam, it's going to snap to grid. Boom. Or I always say snap to grid, but it's going to snap to those to the. Let's go ahead and do this in to the wick. Let's extend right line. Bam. Okay, now we're positive, 100% positive on the daily in line with this trend line. It's not guesswork at all. There's zero guesswork. That is the trend line. Okay, the trend line of what? And let's go ahead and do it to the bottom function as well so that we can be exactly precise. I always like to be precise in terms of the technicals. Like, do we have an exact channel here? It looks like we do. In terms of the formation here, we have this lower bound channel slightly constricted, slightly, but within a tolerance and a threshold, I'd say that, yes, we have this overall downward sloping channel, right? So what we would look at in terms of the, let me go ahead and I want to change the music up just a little bit. Let me change this up just a touch. Let me get into, I have a repeat song that's decent. Bum, 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 bum. There we go. That's a decent song. So when we look at the expectations of the market, when we diagnose the different pattern formations, let me take that extend right line on. I do suggest that you guys do that magnet lock to function on your charts when it really matters. If you're in a quick draw format, go ahead and just let it fly. You know, if you're in kind of pressed for time to get something out, just bam, bam, no problem. But make sure you lock to, especially when you're looking at whether or not we're above or below this line of support that we're currently chiseled into, like this current and previous level of resistance to support, and that's just what we're battling right now. So, Bitcoin is just in and out of that specific line. And I'd say at the same time, it was a difficult day yesterday, down up to like 3.5%. We are also trying to reinforce this specific zone. Let me go ahead and just dig into this. And you guys know this, but it's good to review. This specific zone has been hit like 7 times. I noted that. To Luke, and shout out to Luke. Hope you're doing well, brother. VIP in the house. Great technical analysis. Love it. As we look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times it's been hit, right? 7 times before yesterday's trading day, we have hit into this zone. Definitely an established area of support, right? I mean, clearly we know that. The difficult part, and this is going to be the battle that's going to go on, and it's just not easy. When I say, when we talk about things like volume, are people trading on leverage? Are they ETF'd in? In terms of, will I have a 5x position or a 10x position? It becomes relevant. Where's the demand for the coin, right? So the demand for the coin comes in a lot of different ways. You guys know when you buy Bitcoin to transfer it to somewhere, or you buy it, your UST goes to Bitcoin to effectuate a trade if it's a Bitcoin pairing, etc. A lot of different reasons for storage value, etc. You guys will get into that, but as we look at this, it's a real precarious line to be on right now. You guys know this expanding diagonal here, that expanding wedge. We caught that. It's just a brutal move to the downside, right? But definitely expected within the technical framework. We didn't want that to be the case, but it was. As we would just gear back into, we go over some specific indicators here in just a little bit. I just want to talk about how difficult this is right now. Having poured out, or let's just say having poured down. Yeah, wrong Fibonacci there. Having gone up and above on the breakout of this descending wedge that we had, and guys, just riding this line of previous resistance to support, it's a difficult position. I just had to tell you, if you've traded a lot at lower time frames, etc., these will hold. Guys, they're difficult. I'm just going to tell you they're difficult. Now, before the pour down yesterday, what did I do? I gave the VIP in the back, and I'm glad that I did. I gave the VIP in the back. Let's go ahead and just run through this real quickly if I can find this. And I just was glad that I was able to do this. That's not it. There we go. But I gave the VIP in the back some real crucial pickup levels, and in terms of accumulation for Bitcoin. So what are all the different accumulation levels for Bitcoin, just to kind of point out how that chart looks. And just give me a few seconds to get up through here. I want to show you guys how detailed that specific chart is. Like, what are the accumulation zones? Let me get into here. Where is this? There's some different frameworks, VIP card, etc. Look at the different levels here. I want you guys just to become familiar kind of with this. Let me see if I can open this in a new tab and we can scroll around a little bit. A lot of different levels in terms of pickup, right? Just a ton of indications in terms of like, where are the pickups? Right? And as we would look at it, like in terms of like who's technical, why are we technical? Like, this is technical stuff, guys. This is really, really technical stuff as you start looking at the entirety of what would be like I'd say as close as we could get like a pro grade in terms of the different levels of accumulation. Now, I got these to the VIP yesterday, okay, before the pour down. But yeah, this is like, look at this, guys. I've laid out 20 different levels here with 10 different intermittent levels on this level. So there's 20 sub levels, literally pricing, boom, 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 guys, within this range, the entirety of a mainline support here indicated across. And I got that to the VIP before the pour down. So if you guys were able to pick up on the targets, congratulations. I wanted to make sure that the VIP had those levels and that they were communicated to you guys, especially since we just cleaned up the VIP room, etc. Wanted to make sure you guys had the most detailed Bitcoin levels in terms of the targets, where to go in, where are you looking at. And this was the most, guys, you could get more, you could get a little bit more detailed than this, but this is really, that's really pushing the limit. If you're looking at getting more than, I'd say more than 20 levels of exposure within a designated range, that's really pushing it. Like I said, it's pushing what I would consider to be kind of a pro level, a pro approach, right? Because you're really getting into almost like needing a calculative, really almost a computerized system to get into, like, say 30 to 40 or 50 levels below, right? So those could be manually done. Between 10 and 20 levels could definitely be manually done without too much time frame. What do you got, Crypto Cross? You think Doge will be back? Hey, there's always another cycle in the mix at some point. That's the good thing about pricing, right? We always expect pricing to repeat at some point. Absolutely. We just do. And in terms of that, it's just, it is the nature of the markets, right? As we would look back, and let's just kind of answer that question with people want to know, is something going to ever go up again, right? Well, we can talk about just volatility, right? The good thing about volatility, and it really expresses itself on Bitcoin back to 2017. Right, just look at the volatility here. Look at the cycles ongoing, right? Just an annual event, just cycles, right? We have the highs, we have the lows. Have the highs, we have the lows. So nothing has really changed that much, except the highs are higher, right, and the lows are higher, right? So that's a good that's a good framework to put things in. But all the way back to 2017, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, guys, that's 5 years, right? We've had a lot of volatility. These are some doldrum times. I'll just tell you guys, during this 2018, let's just review so we understand. Like, this was a year. Right, this was a year of consolidation for Bitcoin. 331 days since that previous peak of about 20,000. That was a year, just a flat table shelf, not much going on. But even within that period of time, you had some cyclical event, right? You still had, right? And it was about, let's just look at this, about every 2 months, boom, right? Boom. So about within that month, it tightened up in this area. Back to 2017-18, we still saw that cyclical price action. And as you would look at the current, like, Doge chart, anything else like that, compare Doge to this. Compare the Doge chart to this. You guys do that. Or whatever coin you're looking at. You can just compare the SHIB chart to this. You can compare a lot of different charts to this right now in terms of the 2017 Bitcoin chart. I think you can learn quite a bit from that. Very similar, okay? Very similar. Even to the XRP chart, etc. A lot of similarities to that. So we're looking for continual cycles in the majority of what we try and gain exposure to. The notion, will it go up again? It's going to go down and it's going to go up. If you want to know, most people are disappointed. Well, I wanted something to go to $100,000. Well, it got to 70, huh? It got to 70, Well, Yeah, complete failure? Not at all, right? As we would look at that, well, we wanted something to go to, to $200. Well, you only got to $130, right? Well, it didn't go to 200. Well, it got to 130. So that was a big, I think, lesson for the market in 2021. The expectations were met mostly. They were mostly met, right? In terms of people really striving to maximize, the expectations of the market, to really, well, we want exactly to happen, let's say, what we want to happen. Well, the market gave you probably, 50, 60, 70% of that, right? Not bad. Gave you 70% of that? That's a good market, guys. Bitcoin, we're looking for 100,000, 105,000. And I'll say this, we couldn't really control Austria. Austria hammers in and says, we're going to tax all your Bitcoin. Excuse me? Boom. Right? China, like we can't control China necessarily, right? Or was it Iceland also? Iceland, what are you doing? Yeah, Iceland and China. Iceland says no. We're going to restrict miners. Well, come on. So Iceland, bam. China, bam. So to the extent that with all those other factors involved, Bitcoin still produced, let's say, 70% of expectations in 2021. That's a pretty good market. That's a pretty good. That's something we can deal with, absolutely. So that $70,000 price tag is exciting. I'm excited about that. So in terms of the let's just talk about the technical analytics. Let's reframe and rewind again to this specific channel formation here. Prior resistance, support. Right, we're currently on this line. It's a difficult line to hold. If you guys have traded a lot, if you're dealing with the channel formation. Now, typically, any downward sloping channel is the expectation is going to be that it's going to be bullish, okay? Just whether or not it's on top of a flagpole or not, guys, as you would look at it, any downward sloping channel is going to want to break to the upside at some point, okay? At some point. By definition, it's going to be bullish. We're going to want to break out of it to the upside at some point. Now, some of them, I'll just say this, the more steeply inclined you are, and it's just a part of the retracement, etc., they can be difficult, right? They can be difficult to break out of. But one that's angled like this, you would expect it to break out to the upside. If you guys have traded a lot, and I just say that at the lower time frames, have you really hammered in and traded at the lower time frames? If you just said, okay, here's 10 grand or 5 grand, whatever it is, I'm gonna throw it in. I'm gonna just really hammer through the markets, right? If at some point you get the chance to do that, or with $500, guys, if you get a chance to do that on the lower time frames, I'm gonna book positive trades. You'll see how those trades can manifest themselves in terms of better trades at the larger time frames with larger amounts of money. All right, it's just that's been my experience and the experience of people that I've been around. Okay, so as we would say. This prior level of resistance to support, when you see this, while it's a bullish, we would expect to break out to the upside, it just becomes difficult. These, when you trade at the lower time frames, you see them, you're like, this is not good. It just feels like a complete spill out. Just the next expectation, I'll say, on a lower time frame from a trader is I'm going back in here. And you guys know that if you're really flash trading, if you're really working the lower time frames, you're really hot on the button in terms of being a day trader, your expectation here is we want to hold this, but you are very well prepared as a trader at the lower levels, guys, for a return back into this channel. I'm just bringing that up because that's the expectation of me as a trader. If I'm trading this at a lower time frame, I'm definitely, as I'm seeing this just kind of flail into this previous level of resistance and struggle to really hold this as support and this green candle could have been a nice reaction. We could have come down to it and really reacted to the upside. Instead, it's like we are just kind of in this mode of just pushing down into it. So not that it will occur, but you definitely, if you guys trade a lot, you're prepared for that. At this point, you're prepared for it, right? From a standpoint of a trader, you guys know that. So let's see in the comment section anything interesting you guys shout out. Want to shout out to just all of the VIP, to Luke, to AJ Crypto, it's nice we have a good group right now. It's just nice, huh? We got I think we got all the I don't know, the infiltrators out. All right, I think it's a closed deal right now. It's nice. So I appreciate you guys so much being a part of VIP and investing in your trading future. Is just it's really crucial in terms of it's interesting, and I'll shout out to a few other people as we go along. Definitely Angel, shout out to Angel Matos on the top right. Number one, guys, 500 super chat king, and just an extraordinary guy. Had back-to-back days with $1 million earnings. Just really, really great. On the bottom right, you guys see Josh shot out $1 million. He met the $1 million challenge from last year, 2021. So he is featured on the bottom right. And guys, that can happen. I've seen it happen. So I'll just say it can happen. As a matter of fact, both VIP 2021. We hope you guys are doing well and safe and sound and healthy right now. I mean, just in terms of with all the scares, in terms of whatever health conditions are going around. So as we look at the market, let me just review a little bit. Looks like we're just in the red again. Looks like Bitcoin is pushing down into this generalized level of support. And I would just, right now, it's just this level of support has been tested again 7 times. Right, it's been tested 7 times. Let's take a look at the RSI MACD. Although, you know, on the 4-hourly, I'm going to go at least to the 4-hourly, and I'll bring this up. We recently hit that 4-hourly. Let me bring this up onto the screen so that you can see it. I have my CCI laid out over the RSI. There's the RSI. I have laid the CCI over that RSI, okay, so that I can see both of them. Okay, and I'll change the color up just a bit. I'll enhance that CCI. You see the CCI is the green behind. I like to see a confluent hit as I measure the technicals. I like to see a confluent hit between the CCI and the RSI. I like to see that. So between the purple, right, along that 30 on the RSI, meaning, you know, completely oversold, right? And depending upon whether or not you're in the bullish nature or the bullish portion of the price pattern or the bearish portion, and on what time frame, it's going to depend a touch. There are a few variations there, but I like to see it overlay or a confluence. All right, I want to see the RSI and the CCI. The CCI, I want to see that under -100. Okay, the RSI, I'd like to see that at 30. Still not a guaranteed slam dunk. You guys know that it's not a no indicator, guys, is a guaranteed slam dunk. It's just not. You have to use them all in concert with probabilities, etc. And you have to say, okay, based upon the entirety of and judge the entirety of it. That's what I've had the most experience with, and I think you guys have as well. In addition to really, really focusing on those lower levels. And it hasn't been intuitive. I'll just say, in terms of what has decided to move, right? Phantom has moved, right? Near has moved. Velas has done well. Velas, hey, I brought Velas. Just a big shout out to anyone who decided to invest in Velas, because, guys, it just was a no-brainer for me. It's the fastest. Have you guys seen Velas? I'm just going to bring it up. Why? Because it's the fastest coin to compete with the fastest technology to compete. Look at this. Fastest EVM chain to compete with Ethereum 2.0. Hello, right? I mean, that is what it is, right? So when I saw that, I brought it to VIP and just talk about the price action over the previous days since it's hit on the Fibonacci up 241% in what is that, in 13 days. And yesterday it just flew up through the roof. You guys know that it went up about 70% or so in the last couple of days. Just very interesting coin. I like things that are fast, right? That command some efficiency in the marketplace. I just always pay attention to those and trying to bring those to the attention of the VIP in the back, continually doing a lot of research on their, you know, just hopefully for their benefit, right? Because I know people have limited schedules, have limited, you guys know that, right? As much as you want to trade, as much as you want to focus on the market, that's kind of what I kind of dedicate myself to for the benefit of the VIP. So big, you know, up to 70% gain. That Velas just flew through the roof yesterday. If you had a position in that, if you had even been paying attention to the streams, etc., you were definitely prepared for that move. So that was exciting. I think it's gaining maybe some larger level attention in terms of being, the number one competitor. They're going to be on the side of the Formula One Ferrari car. That's pretty cool, right? So I'm glad we found it before Ferrari did. Very cool. Maybe they were in negotiations, not sure. So as we would look at this, one thing we've also done here, in addition to those pricing targets, and one thing I recommend that you guys always do is use, you know, you can do a regression trend. Two options here. Let's look at a regression trend, and then let's look at and they're gonna demonstrate 2 different things. Let me find the regression trend. There we go. Regression trend. What is the regression trend going to tell us? Essentially, it's going to tell us the standard deviation. Where is the mean level heading? Where are we? What is directionally while we're picking up right now on a standardized? And this makes sense in line with what we're viewing. We have a downward sloping channel, right? Yeah, we have a downward sloping channel, right? That's in combination with this flat line of support. So the regression trend is going to kind of balance that for us. It's going to tell us, you know, yeah, we have price action that's heading down, but also being supported a little bit, just a slight angle to it, as we were to. So I bring that up in addition to in addition to the framework you would put together with a pitchfork, right? And the pitchfork is just the number one tool. No one likes to talk about it or use it, right? It's the number one tool that's literally under that menu. So yeah, it makes sense that we would talk about it, that we would use it. Let me just go ahead and define one here, if I can, just to identify kind of the lower range, the mid-level ranges, and the top range, okay, of the price action over the last 30 days, okay? So Bitcoin currently down about 0.48% to 46,230. And what I like, guys, we did stream so much during this time frame. And this is the market. I'll just tell you, when you're committed to it, when you spend time in it. You guys remember this previous pour down, right? Shout out to the alpha traders. Shout out to Kent Gifford. Brother, what's going on? Also, shout out to Kenny. It's been a while. Kenny, I hope you're well. As we would look at this, we spent so much time streaming during this time frame, and it's like, well, you know, is it ever really going to pay off? What's going to happen? Well, it paid off because we found this ascending triangle at the bottom. Bam, 29,750, kicking up a bull framework in the background just shortly after that. So these are the times to have patience, to dig into the market, etc. And it's just you know, we've had success by staying plugged into the market. You guys know that one of the most difficult things to do. Warren Buffett talks about, you know, investing being a mechanism of delivering wealth from the impatient to the patient. So we want to be on that side of the map in terms of being patient, right? So that's just that's where we that's why we stream. That's why we like to stay plugged into the price action. Bitcoin's the leader in the market, so we're definitely going to stay plugged in directly to Bitcoin. It's been a long journey thus far, but it's been a good journey. It's been a lot of fun. Met a lot of great people. And we're looking forward to a great 2022. Without a doubt. Let me see here. If I can find some better music in 2022, I would love it. It's not bad here, but let's see what we got. Let me see what I've got on terms. Let's see if there's any. Some of the music is just out there. I don't know. It's like they make the music good and then it's kind of crazy. But yeah, it's VIP, so you guys, you know, you need something kind of fun. As we would look at this downward angled, and you guys know the patterns yourselves, right? But it's good to review them, right? We have a bullish expression, technically, right? So the expectation would be for us to break up and out, okay, up back into this range, okay? That's the expectation of this falling wedge pattern. Essentially, anytime you see a falling wedge pattern, it's going to want to express itself to the upside, okay? It's going to be inclined to do that. Let's say inclined on the probabilities, right? That's just New York Institute of Finance kind of stuff. And every time I say that, it's like, oh, here we go again. New York Institute of Finance. Well, they were founded by the stock exchange in 1922, the New York Stock Exchange. So they probably know pricing action. Yeah, I think they do, huh? So we'll pay attention to them. Why not? In terms of this, and shout out to any of those guys. I read a copyright restriction in the front of their book saying nothing can be copied. I was like, do what? I can't even copy something and give it to VIP, even if I give them the appropriate citation. I was like, oh no. So I need to contact those guys again. I've talked with those guys before, so I'll call them and see what's going on over there, see if I'm allowed to spread the good word about their institution. We'll see whether or not. So the expectation would be to, yes, break out of up above this specific falling wedge, okay? We poured down to the bottom line almost so much that it's still a decent pickup area if you're ready and prepared to double and triple down at lower levels. I know you guys want volatility, right? You want volatility. You want the 14-15% day. I know you do, right? As we would look at Phantom, right? Like, nice move to the upside, difficult move, right? A difficult move, it's pulling it off. Absolutely. We would expect, we would just, the expectation, okay, and not immediate, but the expectation would be a completeness, or let's say a completion move to the upside, about 30% additional. But we might see some additional pattern formation, and Phantom has just performed really well. If you didn't pick up on it originally, it literally has just been the phenomenon of you having to trade something that's already launched from a Fibonacci. So that's difficult to do. If you have found yourself having difficulty doing that, it's just difficult to do, right? So, and the real challenge there is you want all your capital to work, as much capital as you can, with the understanding that you have the heavy cash reserves, right? But you want your capital to work, not just, I'll pepper in. Let's get here. I'm gonna go ahead and structure in $500 on 500 coins at a level of the Fibonacci. Now you can do that if you're well funded and capitalized, etc. But you want to focus on the key moving coins, right? You'd like to do that. Although the other strategy is very interesting long term. If you guys have worked that out, all right, it's very interesting, and I encourage you to work that out in terms of those. There's just a lot of surprises in the market. You guys know some 10,000, 10,000x, some 1,000x, and just some interesting coins out there. So I'm looking forward to hearing some VIP, which I think we're going to have some VIP information on microcap soon. I'm looking forward to hearing that. I think AJ is somewhat of a theoretical expert, or probably absolutely more of an expert in terms of actual practice on that. So I'm looking forward to hearing that, and for the VIP to hearing that. Looking forward to that, AJ. It's going to be awesome. As we would look at this formation here, we did have this bull pennant, okay, on the bull pennant. As soon as I say bull, my dog in the background starts barking. It's like, well, it's not a bull. As we look at this, that's funny for me. As I look at this, the bull pennant formation to the top side, bam. The expectation is an additional, just on the pennant framework, an additional, let's see here, about 10%. And the challenge with the bull pennant, because we have this micro feature here on, or up and above, with a little stutter step, like everything's just wanted to kind of stutter, right? Hasn't been real seamless. The challenge is that amidst that, we did have to break through, and it's just been the market. The market has continually done this and proven itself to be difficult. But yeah, we did have, like on Phantom, it's moved really well, but you had to conquer a rising wedge. So you're currently faced with the decision. This has just been the market recently. Do you want to be in the hot moving coin? Well, sure. But what does that mean? Well, it means that you're currently invested or investing in something that's got a standard, a standard expectation of bearish patterning, right? We have a bearish pattern here, so it's dangerous at times to trade above a rising wedge. So that's just been, as Bitcoin, all we need to do is look at the Bitcoin chart. It's just literally, that's about all we need to do. It explains the whole story. So let's take a look again at just how just how tight the market is. Currently off about, what is that, 0.15%. This is just a real tight zone. Okay, this has just been, guys, let's just measure from the top to the bottom of this specific wedge. You've got 4%, okay, 4%, okay, just in the wedge here. That's how tight that is, and you've got to pick it up on the extreme, etc. Provide yourself with a little bit of room here. But look how tight this has been, guys. Let's just measure this out as it is just carved sideways here. Look at this. We're dealing with days and moves that are 1.5%, guys. Now that's tight, guys. You're dealing with days with volatility of 1% to a 1.5. That's tight, guys. That's really tight, right? And that's not just one day. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a lot of days, individual days with not much more volatility really than that. Now, directionally speaking, the direction has defined itself within the context of the last 30 days here in terms of kind of a sideways trajectory with, a downward slope, definitely a range of 10 to 15%, but within that, which is captured on almost a daily basis with a few nice exceptions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at this, guys. 5, 6, 7, about 7 days in the last 30 days have had some kind of real volatility to it, to the upside. Like real volatility meaning what? Real volatility meaning like, 5%. Okay, so we had, 1, 2, here we go, 3, really probably 4, but I'm not counting the red ones as much, huh? Let's say 4, 5, 6, 6 or 7 days where we've had Bitcoin moving like 4% plus. Some of the other days, many of the other days have been so tight. Yeah, it's just been literally, specified days. It's 1%. It's 1.66%. So 1.76%. That's tight, guys. That is tight. So, and particularly given the notion that we've had some really just down day dropouts. Like, look at this. This was multiple. This is on the 4-hourly chart. I should say the 4-hourly chart. I'm on the 4-hourly chart. Let's revisit this. This will make the diagnostic a little better. This will make it better. There we go. This is a little bit better. Apologize for that. We're stuck on the 4-hourly. Like, we didn't have that many hourlies, right? Or that many dailies on the hourly. It just caught me, and I'm like, okay, we need to redo that. A little bit too tight. As we would look at this, it's interesting on the 4-hour time frame to diagnose this. This is a little bit better. though it has shown the constriction. I apologize for that. That's the second time I've been in the wrong time frame about last week. I do apologize for that. You need to pay attention to this right here, the 1D, right? The one daily. So let's discuss how tight it has been here on the daily. Let's do that. And it's just been, I don't mind looking at the 4 hour. I may actually go back to that as a kind of a primer here. And let's just discuss this on the daily. The overall, about 4%. That's nice. Much better. Okay, much better. About 8.60%. What I'm coming off of was yesterday's inability of Luna to get up over, like, it's like a lot of the altcoins are just expressing themselves on the daily, and you guys know that if you've traded, it's up 3%, 4%. It's up 2%. I mean, I've had that continually. If you guys have been in the market, other than Near has had some price action. Phantom has had some price action. Rose has had some price action. Other than those, we've literally just, IOTEX has done relatively well. There have been some other coins that have done decently, but we've just been in that mix where it's been like, can we get over 3 or 4%? You know, can we do that in a day? And you guys, if you've been trading, you know, you've been looking at it. It's like, well, one is moving again. Okay, Phantom is moving again. Rose moved quite a bit in the beginning. Vela moved. Other than that, it's just, we have a big string of coins here on the right that are literally just moving, you know, and you guys know that if you traded, it's been the continual challenge. It's up 3%, it's up 4%, and that's it, right, on the day. You guys know that, right? It's like you got to cover your cost of entry and exit. So, but we will do the diagnostic here, absolutely, certainly. Like in terms of these big mover days, and let's just cover this on the entirety of, like 4 days, 12%. That's awesome. That is awesome, right? So we can talk about the, let's do this diagnostic right now. In terms of this pickup zone, what has it given? What has it provided us? Previously, it provided 5%, okay? 5%. Previously, it provided, let's go here, 4.46%, okay? 4.46, 4%, 5%. It provided 4.39%, okay? It provided, let's just look at this. It provided another 4%. Okay, and this is on the daily, not on those 4 hourly. Though interesting chart, I'm glad I did that 4 hourly beforehand. It's really tight on the 4 hourly, isn't it? So few 4 hour, and that's interesting we did that because it really shows how, I mean, that's interesting, guys. Do you realize kind of what we're looking at here? On the daily, it's nice, right? But do you see how quick the action is? Like, we just looked at the 4 hourly. I thought we were on the daily. We were on the 4 hourly. But do you see what that tells us? We have the volatility here daily expressed a bit more. On the 4 hourly, do you see how quickly involved and how tuned in you have to be? Let's look at the 4 hourly again. Pay attention to this. Very interesting. Look at the 4 hourly and how you have to be on the march. You have got to be there. Bam. You've got to be there. It's just immediate. Boom. You've got to catch it. Bam. You got to catch it. Bam. And they're just not. It's like the majority of the time, the price is moving sideways or it's moving down. You've got to be there. Bam. That's it. Bam. You've got to be in the market. You've got to be there and ready. You know, bam. Bam. Just very interesting, right? And it almost clarifies it to look at the daily. It's just, that's why we called it Bitcoin spike in the beginning, because we caught this down in the back rooms, right? We did catch that moment, right? Bam. We caught that. It's just not easy to catch those. You really have to pay attention. I like the 4 hourly versus the daily, because the daily is a lot more consolidated. It's going to show the whole day. You really have to be there. It's like there's a few 4 hour candles on either sides of these that's not moving much, right? So definitely needing to be plugged in. Okay, so multiple times hitting this zone with some volatility of about 4 to 5% in this range. That can reasonably guide some expectations if you're looking for a return, looking for a play in that in this area, right? Always with the heavy reserve capital. You guys know that in the background. What would you guys like to shout out in the comments? Let me know what you would like to discuss right now. And let's go to the hourly. I'm interested in that in terms of the volatility. Now that I went to the 4 hourly, I want to go through the different time frames a little bit. Yeah, now it starts becoming even a little bit more apparent, right? You have some nice hourly candles that you want to pick up, right? Just bam, there's 2%. Yeah. You got to catch them, huh? Look at this, about the same. That was about the best run that we have had, and that was about that was nice. That bull flag, the bull flag that we did catch. I got that video out. Some really wild price action here, but just look at the candles. Like, you've just got to be there at the right time. Like, you're essentially, look at this. We're essentially sideways here for 2 days and 5 hours. You have a few hourly candles that are profitable here. Bam, bam. Right as we would kind of diagnose or just take a look at where the profit potentials for a market that's really tightly constricted in a range, it's by the hour. And if we really dice it down even to like the 30-minute, you're going to find that these specific, real sharp moves up, some of them are, on the, if we go down to like the 5 minutes, you've got to be down in there. Now we're talking, right? You've got to be there in the 5 minutes that it's there. Bam. You got to catch it in the 5-minute time span. Bam. You got to catch it in the 5-minute time. Bam. Right? Just, you've got to catch those. And the market, like particularly this, that was a 15-minute run here. That was a nice 15-minute run. Right, and you get into these micro moves on the 5-minute chart. You start to we start to look at this. It's nice to do this on different time frames. 0.69%, right? In this zone, right? See, these are just 5-minute shots. Bam, bam, tight, huh? Very tight. Look at this. What's that? What's this 5-minute candle? What is this? I'm glad we went to the different time frames. Look at this. That's 0.93%. You got 5 minutes to get in and out for 0.93% here on a flag formation. Ooh. Okay, yeah. Now, this was a nice one. Huh? This was a nice one in the last 30 days. Wow, huh? If you guys look at the 5-minute chart, I'm interested for you guys to just pay attention to that. Very interesting, huh? Just some slight moves. You're going to pick them up, or you're going to, this is tough. Look at this, guys. This is the 5-minute chart. Where are the spikes? Where's the price action? We rarely have a 5-minute candle that's over, the last week or so here, a 5-minute candle with any kind of over a percent, right? Now, this one here, you got to catch it on the 5-minute if you're going to trade that. You got to, that's 1.35%. Tight, huh? So, and the more you dig down into the lower time frames, you're going to find it on the 5-minute. You want to look at the 1 minute, right? Let's see. You want to look at the 1 minute. Bam, right? Let's see what that is. Just real, kind of burst level. Bam, 0.4%. Let's find a big move on the 1 minute. I just want to see what the price action has been telling us. Carving up a little bit there, a little bit of, small trend work. I just want to look at the price action so we can, essentially, let's see what we're dealing with here, right? I want to discuss it as a group. We'll look at this, 0.75%. Okay, so you put on what is this? This is on the minute, just to go through it. 47,491. 47,491. Okay, to 47,800. Okay, a move up of what? Move up of 0.74%. Okay, bam. This is 1, 2, 3 minutes move up. All right, this is here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes moving up. This here is. And we have before we get up and above this level of resistance, we get 1, 2, 3 minutes. Boom, boom. 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes to react. Be in front of your computer. That's it. You got to trade. 3 minutes. Bam. 3 minutes, right? So this is it's interesting to look at it like this, just for a minute. This one kind of grinds and chisels along for a minute, probably 10 minutes. Huh? 10 minutes. Nice. What is this here? Nice move to the upside. All right, this is the reprieve that we had here. All right, what was this? This was 11 minutes. That's nice. This one you had 2.34% and it covered 11 minutes. That's nice. That's almost kind of Bitcoin to give that to us, right? That's really generous. We had 10 minutes. You had 10 minutes to be there. A lot of these moves to the upside, literally, guys. And if you don't know, it's like it's literally that fast paced. It's not. It's not a slow day at the park, is it? No, not at all. Interesting to look at the lower time frames because I know you guys can handle it. Look at this, 6 minutes. Yeah, 1.14% in 5 minutes. You got to cover that in 5 minutes. You got to be on it, literally. And the issue is, it's 5 minutes with another repeat interval of a few minutes. But look at the grind. Look at this, 4 hours and 8 minutes. So you got to wait the 4 hours and 8 minutes. Let's just talk about all this. You got to wait. Let's just look at this interval here. You're going to be waiting 5 hours and 26 minutes. 5 hours. You're going to wait 5 hours to get out of a level of resistance for 3 minutes. to get out of a level of resistance to trade up for what? And it's just tight, guys. This is what I'm saying. It's tight. 7 minutes. You're going up in 7 minutes, right? Essentially, you got 10 minutes out of 5 hours. You guys get that? 10 minutes out of 5 hours? Whew. That's tight, guys. It's tight. Yeah, everybody knows, huh? So it helps us to focus on coins that are moving, that have that trend going, right? This is one of the best moves up here, right? Out of hours, preceding hours, you got 12 minutes. Boom, you better hit it. I mean, whoa, right? That's why I like that we caught that 29,750 in the back. I like that, right? But it's just, it doesn't go without saying this is what we've been in, guys. This is, you know, the 5 minute, the 10 minute where it's going to move at all out of, you know, out of a collective. This is good for us to review. You got 20 hours here, essentially a day. Few moves up, but you got to catch it at the right spot down here, and then what? Bam! You got that's not bad, huh? You got 30 minutes. That's not bad. So you were on the move for 30 minutes. That's nice. Breaking level resistance. Boom, boom. I mean, it's quick, right? So out of a day, right? Out of a day or so, you've got, you know, you got to be on it for that 10, 20, or 30 minutes. And it's always a balance. I always talk about eat well, sleep well, and that's, I mean, you got to sleep, right? You got to eat. You got to maintain those relationships. It's like, well, I can't be away from the computer for 5 minutes. It's interesting, huh? As we talk about the demands on you guys physically and just emotionally, and people are like, well, I hear all the time with London, I'm trying to gear my emotions correctly. Well, good. You know, you're gonna have to catch the next 5 minutes out of the next 14 hours. You know, okay, right? It's not an easy task for anybody. So around the holidays, etc. Congratulations to anyone who's been booking nothing but positive trades. And again, I think a lot of you probably in this similar situation. If you know your technicals, you've probably been in the position to book your trades. They may not have been producing as much money as you wanted to, right? So whether or not you booked them at that level or not, I don't know. We may need to, I've said that a few times, so we may need to adjust slightly our expectations on 2022. Let's just book trades. Let's just book those trades, regardless of how, how deeply in the money you are. A lot of times those expectations will, a lot of times those expectations they can be your friend or foe. So I think we're in the mode right now, and I just have to say this for myself, etc. For VIP, I know we're in the mode where we need to be reasonable on our trades. I've just seen it, me personally, right? And I've sat there and pushed. I'm just like, man, I don't want 1%. I don't want 2%, 3%. This needs to go for like 15%. Right, or 12%. I'm getting those indications on some of the patterns, and then the patterns aren't playing. Right, we're in this constricted of a zone, this tightly chiseled of a zone, and it's just, we just haven't seen those days. It's been a while since we've seen the entire board light up with green, nothing but green, and it's all green and it's all 15 and 20%. We haven't had one of those days, have we? I don't think we've had one day in the last month, right? A few movers, but in the last month we haven't had, as Bitcoin's been consolidating, we haven't had the board light up one time. Guys, you want to talk about needing to catch something, and be there for 5 minutes out of the last 22 hours? Guys, I mean, I'm on this stuff, right? I take power naps. You guys know that, right? Really pushing, trying to get this stuff to you guys and stay informed. Out of 22 hours, we got to catch that 5 minutes. So, and I know you guys are committed to success like that in the market as well. But I would have caught I would have noticed the day when the entire board was lit up, all the alts, etc. 20%. Not a day in 30 days. Not a day out of a month. That's tight, guys. That's tight because we anticipate one of those days, right? We anticipate our expectations as traders. Well, it's gonna throw it back together in the next 2 or 3 days. It's gonna put it together, and not to be down. I'm just discussing the market. I'm discussing what it's been throwing at us, right? Curveballs, spitballs, I mean, slider. I mean, just, we got 3 pitch. It feels like, we got 1 bat and we got 3 pitchers, right? It's like, whoa, hold on. It's like, So it's kind of felt like that as we get into the market. Not to be discouraging at all, but to talk about the technicals. Technically speaking, like what's the last month that we've been through, right? Very good to talk about. Talking about the velocity. When do we see these spikes, right? Because and this is interesting now. I'm really glad we had this discussion because we really haven't had it like this. Appreciate you guys paying attention if you did. Start off with an error. Sometimes we can make good things out of errors because the day looks really nice. Look at that. Nice volatility in the daytime. The problem is we just zoomed into this. It's 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes out of that day when it's moving like this, right? It is, huh? Maybe 30 minutes out of 22 hours. It's 30. It's 5 to 30 minutes, literally. Sometimes it's 2 minutes. Boom. So and you guys know that when you trade a lot, you're watching the market. Well, something's moving, and so we're always trying to bring that to each other's attention, function as a group, etc. You guys shout out in the chat room. Let me know what you guys are thinking, what you're up to, and just happy 2022. Okay, so VIP have in the back, you have your pricing targets for Bitcoin. You have those if you want them in terms of accumulation. Deliver those before the pour down yesterday. If you had orders waiting yesterday based upon these, okay, I delivered them before the pour down yesterday, you probably booked a trade. I'm going to say, I don't know if you booked it, but you were in a position to book a positive trade. If you had those orders waiting below. Now, how heavily you would have wanted to do that, it may have taken, a degree of capital. I'm going to say that to have expressed any kind of positive, flow from that. It just, that is the case, right? But some of you are well funded, so I will leave that to your discretion in terms of how heavily you have chosen to go into the accumulation phase. But it was well placed, well timed. So in terms of the patterning here, just looking to hold support would be excellent. Not real excited about this channel. I'm just going to say that one more time, right? Not to be discouraging whatsoever, but just not really excited about being on the top level. This resistance to support. Expectation of traders, me, is that I want to pick this up in here. I'm going to wait in this zone, maybe with some exposure up here, but I'm really ready for this lower portion. I just am. As a trader, that's me. If I were to trade this, specifically on a faster time frame, I'm ready for this. It's proving to me it's having a little bit of difficulty, being up and out and away from this channel, right? Up and above that channel. So let's dig into, let's see if there's anything else. Rose, what is Rose doing? Just doing nicely, isn't it? Just want to check it out. Rose. We covered this earlier, like we just did, and it continued to do well. It had woken up, essentially, and so I was like, let's go ahead and cover this. It just was wanting to take off. Since then, you've essentially completed the top line of that channel formation. Okay. Sol is one I'd like to see do well. I would also like to see Sol not have problems with their blockchain. I'm not sure if you guys have been paying attention to that. A few random shutdowns, few sequences, incidents where they've had problems. So Solana, one of the hot coins of 2021, has had problems with their operability, right? Their functioning. That's discouraging, guys. In terms of like, it's just you want to see the coin perform well, etc. And it's like on some of these projects, you're just wondering, is like, it's just the market, right? Well, some of them, there may be some fundamental issues. You guys, I'm sure, pay plenty of attention to issues like that. But nice to see Rose, trying to complete up in line with the maximum. I would go to the candle wicks on this because you still may have some room left here on Rose. If you guys are carrying a position, etc., after we talked about it the first time, additional 20% to get you up to the top line of that resistance, right? So nice. ETH, very interesting one, right? ETH looks like it is just if you guys also, again, if you trade quite a bit, you're going to know what? You're just going to know that, yes, we're in a bullish pattern, right? The further that you go down into this wedge, okay, we're going to talk about Ethereum just in terms of the overall market. It's a leader for the alts, right? We have this upline channel formation, right? We've broken out of that, okay? That's difficult. We're trying to catch it with a falling wedge. You guys understand, the lower that you go in the wedge, the more difficult, based upon my experience, reading, etc. If you guys have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. But the further that you go down into this wedge, the less impact, essentially. I'd say the less expectations we would have. Not that it can't pick up. The good thing about Ethereum is once it does pick up, it really picks up. It has dispelled, I'll say previously, it has dispelled any question about what it's doing. It really gets that momentum going, right? But the further that we were to work down into this structure here, the less bullish I personally am. I'd like to see it up and out of this structure, right, out of this this falling wedge. We do have that severe pour down, which gives us, unfortunately it expands this, right, like that. So we're pushing laterally right now. I would like to see if this specific trend line being broken, this line of resistance, which is just, that's a rough, line of resistance. We've really recaptured a lot of that move to the upside. So in terms of expectations, I don't want to be bearish on Ethereum. I don't want to necessarily be bearish on it, but I just want to talk about the pattern formation, that we need to get up and out. Essentially, we need to get up and out of that zone quickly, okay? And Ethereum is just carved along. I want to talk about tight trading. Look at this for the last, how long is this? We've been in this zone for the last month and a half. We've been in this wedge for the last month and a half, about 50 days. So yeah, you guys are turning into warriors all of a sudden. 50 days, Ethereum and a wedge. Whew. It's like, all right, 50 days, right? So that's saying something. One has done really well. Would love to see Harmony 1. Would love to see this complete back to its top level formation, or top level of the resistance here. Boom, boom. Would love to see that. That'd be a big move for Harmony 1. Look at that. That'd be an additional like 46% of the top line resistance. That'd be critically huge. That'd be nice. It has faked out along this level of resistance multiple times. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? And through here, here, here. So I'm a little cautious on just calling, well, it's a breakout to the upside, right? Some exposure. It's got plenty of volatility. You guys know I started the station on Harmony 1 after it had more price action than GameStop. I'm like, hold on. Do what? And I looked at the, Google Maps was one of the founders, etc. One of the previous employees at Google Maps, he came to work at and establish Harmony 1. I was like, that sounds pretty cool. I like that. Some professional, I'd say involvement, right? The management team, the utility, etc. was interesting. 3,000% in 2021. But it beat GameStop. GameStop was huge in 2021. That was a big deal. That was all over the CNBC, everything else, right? The short squeeze. Absolutely. So another kind of doldrum day. And I don't know if you guys have found this. This has just been my experience recently. As Bitcoin has carved sideways, as it dropped down, we were thrown into a position with a lot of the altcoins where, yes, we struck a level. And listen to this, please. We struck a level in the RSI, Relative Strength Index, or other indicators, letting us know that, yes, we could expect some positive price action at some point. Right? Right. So the difficulty was what? We struck down into that in all of the altcoins 30 days ago. Just pay attention, guys. When Bitcoin slammed down to its 38.2% retracement, we struck down to about 42,000 on Bitcoin. We all looked at the market and said, yes, this is an opportunity for entry in all the altcoins. Right on. And what happened? A lot of them are still relatively sideways for the past 30 days. That's not easy. That's not easy, guys, when you're talking about we have an opportunity to buy. Because you guys like to buy, you like to trade, right? You have your favorites, etc. Boom, you're into the coin. Not just Bitcoin, but the other coins. Bam, you're in. And then what's happened? Boom. That's a lot of patience, all right? That's to be commended. But it's also to be commented on, right? Because we would expect, boom. Well, how long should we wait, right? How long will this be? Because it's been 30 days. And history has told us it'll be, until it's done, until it's ready to start running again. So you have the Phantom, the Near, you have the Rose, Luna went on a little run, and Harmony 1. You have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You probably have about 7 to 10 maybe that I'd say good projects, really good projects that you would say, I would deliver this to my coworkers or something. I really believe in this project. Well, you would go out on the line with maybe your coworkers or maybe your boss or maybe another executive, like, if you're in the board of directors, I'll bring this one up. Yeah, right? Well, it's got a solid blockchain application. It's got solid security, no failures. It's absolutely impeccable in terms of its presentation. I mean, right? So how many of those have really just boom? In the last 30 days, it's been tight, guys. It's been tight. So we had that moment. I talk about the pour down. We had that moment. Everything got hit, bam, on the daily or the 4-hourly RSI. Got hit in here again, boom. some light trades happen on a lot of coins. It only went up like 12%. Like Doge went up big when Elon talked about it with Tesla, right? A few others shot up here and there. It's been tight. Hit the daily, great. Okay, hit the 4-hourly, great. So a lot of you are ready for some positive price action, yeah? Yeah, a lot of you are ready. And with let me just say this, with a good, I'd say that's well reasoned, okay? It is well reasoned. Let me find this song that I do like. Where is this one? I hope you guys are doing well. Maybe some of you are still off work, etc. I hope so. Just chilling. New Year's, right? Maybe you saw the New York stream or some of the parties on TV. Not sure. I still haven't seen any pictures, but that's okay. So that's been the frustration the last 30 days. And if you didn't pick the perfect exact coin, and a lot of VIP did, shout out. I know some of you really did. Boom. We streamed about some of them. From Citus went, Velas went well. Some on Retrace though, right? Let me say this: if you didn't get in where to the optimum coin, which guys, I mean, we already talked about the difference between Sand and Gala. We hit a few patterns on Matic, right? But the ones that were really strong beforehand, after the drop here on Bitcoin, it flipped. And the other ones were stronger in the same category, between Mana and Sand and Gala, things like that. So, it's kind of mixed messages, along with a lot of patience. So just be understanding with where you're at right now, with where your portfolio is at right now. Don't judge the rest of 2022. Just my word of encouragement. Don't judge the rest of 2022 on where you're at right now. Just don't do it, right? 2021 proved some huge gains can be possible. Yeah, so it's been tricky. It's been frustrating. It's been 30 days essentially sideways within a 10 to 12, 15%, let's say max range here on Bitcoin. About 14.93, right? Percent range. So don't judge the entirety of the rebound or the profits in your account or anything like that on what's been going on now. Okay? We're in kind of a carry zone right now. Carry from what? I'd say, essentially we don't have an uptrend. So to the extent you would have wanted some exposure at the top of Bitcoin, maybe some, right? 69,000 carry down to, right? Potentially. Carry down to, compounding down at lower levels, right? To gain additional exposure. That's an approach. It's different than like a dollar cost average, right? You're covering your upside position with a compound lower entry. We've talked about it specifically for a long time, right? Heavier amounts of capital involved at lower levels. So to the extent that the market has been frustrating to you, it's been frustrating to a lot of people recently, but that's a good thing about a new year, isn't it? Yeah. I have a feeling when the companies start to get back in gear in 2022, when we start to see some real, I'd say, advancements in the area, when the question of regulation gets kind of cleared up, when the issue as to whether or not inflation has been adequately dealt with gets cleared up, and oh wait, it has or has not been dealt with. And I think we can wink and say that, it has or has not been really dealt with. Those are some issues that I think we'll see some direction here. It's just right now we have the end of the year, just passed with people being kind of away, people wanting to take profits, etc. The Fed decision in terms of tapering interest rates, etc. Not to get too oriented financially with you in terms of the discussion, but we're not going to talk about the hawks and tapering. We're not going to discuss all of that. Just if inflation goes away, big if, to the extent that inflation is curbed with monetary policy, it's going to have an impact on, and I'd say two things I want to say. It's going to have an impact on an inflationary hedge, Bitcoin, and to the extent that the appetite for volatility, or so for, let's say, risky investments or volatility, right, is mitigated or lessened, like the less appetite there is for something that's risky like Bitcoin. It is risky. You guys know you're investing in something that's very risky, right? If that appetite is somehow lowered, right, if the overall market, a lot of you are involved in the stock market as well, if the market goes and suffers through some losses, the appetite for Bitcoin may be a little bit more reserved. We're waiting for one thing. I would love to see Bitcoin in a position where nobody wants to touch it. I'll just tell you, because it was great around here. Nobody wanted to buy it. And that's when you know. Right now, it's like, well, I kind of want to do, I kind of don't. I think it's at a good price. I can't think it's not. It's kind of. No. When everybody disappears, except who? Except for you guys and me, right? That's right, huh? And that's where we really, really saw the value hammer in here. Everybody was throwing their crypto away. They literally wanted to throw it in the river, right in here. You guys know that, right? It's true. It is absolutely true. All your friends hated crypto. You talked to them about it. I would go. I went to a cigar bar just to kind of do a live show, everything else. You know, a little Bitcoin hat and everything. I didn't have a hat on, but essentially, right? Oh, you guys are invested in crypto in here, right? In this area. And like, no way. No, sir. No, we got out of crypto. We're getting out tomorrow out of crypto. Oh, really? Huh? Oh, interesting. And so I show up talking about, well, I don't know, you know, Bitcoin, crypto, maybe it's a good time to buy, right? Very funny, huh? You believe inflation will continue. It's been on the march for a while, hasn't it? So as we talk about that, the optimal zone that we can get into, they talk about fear and greed, panic, and what are all the other emotional sentiment indicators that we could throw at the market, right? The one you want to find is completely disinterested, rejection. You want to find rejection. No one talks about that. Between fear and greed, let all that pass, right? Let all you want that gone. Well, the fear and greed index, or the sentiment is positive or negative. No, you want all that. Yeah, go with the fear here, right? Go with the greed here. Greed, fear, great. You don't want to trade that particularly. You want to find the complete rejection and level of disinterest. Gone completely. Everyone's bored with it. They lost too much money. It's over. That's where the value was in 2021. Boom, boom, boom. Like complete element of surprise. Was it surprise or not? Really, at the beginning of 2021, same deal. Completely disinterested, completely gone. This was in 2020. Boom. March 2020, down to 3,700. Who wants to touch it around, 5,000 when it was previously 20, right? No one. So that complete level of disinterest, when people literally want to turn their, quote unquote, turn their backs on it, that's when I get interested in things, when no one else wants to deal with it. And I just have seen that play out time and time again. So for the ones who stick with this, and you guys know if you've been around crypto for a while, you guys know that. It's like, you're kind of right. It's not the fear. It's not the greed. Because you can go with that. Those are sentiment indicators, right? Those are, they're used by a lot of different, I'd say, sophisticated individuals who comment on the market. But we need, almost to the point, I'm looking forward if we can get to a point where it's like, well, the whole market, like everyone I know is completely, they don't even want to be involved in it. They're bored of it. They've thrown away their bags or whatever. They're going to just throw it in the river. That's it. I've turned my back on it, right? That's when things are interesting. Because we have a small group in the back. We had one then. And boom, right? It's an interesting market, isn't it? The dynamics of the challenges, etc., and what can get you to that level. So, yeah, Bitcoin pushing down into its level of lateral support. Okay? Again, I'm just going to say I'm ready as a trader to operate in this zone. Okay? And to the extent that I'm really looking at trades right now, I just have to tell you personally, with me, it's just, it has to be kind of this level where I've had to become increasingly by the day, and I've reached my limit, I'm going to say that on this, to where it's just flat out need to say it. I have to be extremely, extremely reasonable on all my trades. I just do, right? I just do. I have to. And maybe you do too. If you're pushing for those big gains, and well, it's only up 5%, man. I know, right? I know. And there's only 5 minutes out of 22 hours on this daily green candle where you could have caught this move. So it's just tight. It's not like bam, 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 right? It's not like bam, bam, bam. It's just not right now. So that's not bad because we see the green on the screen. It's mean, right? Absolutely. Bam, bam, bam. It likes to do this. It likes to do it, but it definitely, and I'm going to say Bitcoin, the market, but it definitely likes to do this too. For 2 months, yeah, okay. We got a good group. We have a real good group. 65 days that like to do that. All right. 65 days, okay? Let's see what we got here. Jay-Z in the house. Jay-Z, how is it going? Hope you're doing well. Jay-Z is an old acquaintance. Hope everything's good. Let's see what Jay-Z says. Let's see. You'd like to see us. What did I just do? Hit the wrong button. There we go. Like to see us come down and confirm that 30,000 level that we bounced from, which shows some real strength and bring the hype back. Interesting. See, I think we go back to 30,000, and I don't disagree. You're technically plugged in. Jay-Z's definitely he's a technical. Jay-Z, you got to probably join VIP again, even if it's a bit low would from a large double bottom. Yeah, agreed. I concur. It's just we're gonna find people wash their hands. Like, I know people who got involved with multi-million-dollar positions. Not I told them essentially levels to trade, etc., with large amounts of money. Some individuals that I knew, and they didn't need my help, right? And you run into people who all different types of people in life. On the breakout or before the breakout, etc., wherever our lines were placed at that specific time, right? Okay, I think they were placed along here. We'll talk about the cross line, essentially the cross trend line. Prior resistance to support we're trying to hold right now. It's good I get into this discussion. But as we talk about this, a lot of people owned Bitcoin. This is a break-even point here. A lot of people owned Bitcoin in and around from the previous high. I talked to a lot of them, well-to-do individuals. Got sold the CNBC, the hype. It's going to, at the top, right? That's when they market it, right? To liquidate, or essentially to sell to, everyone's position that got in earlier, right? That's how the market functions a lot of times. When you see the news, they're selling to you from me, hopefully, right? They're literally, the news is selling to you from me, hopefully, meaning I already have a lower position. Let the news do the marketing. Let the news do the sales pitch. Let them do the job. Whenever I see it on TV, all-time high, just say that, all-time high, sell. Anytime I see all-time high, sell. Just consistently, like they're doing, hopefully the job of selling to you, whoever you is, from me, because hopefully the entry was lower for me. That's, typically, like if you see, like, on the news, just see the words all-time high, sell. I mean, just it's a real easy maxim in terms of that. So in terms of this formation, I know people who got involved, a lot of people who got involved earlier here, not people I was dealing with, right? But also here, I know personally people, multi-million-dollar positions in this level, but just driving into it, right? And not with me, not on my statement or otherwise, really, right? But I do know big heavy hitters that are involved in this area. So this was a break-even point in this area, also interestingly, from the previous section around 65,000, where a lot of people here were relieved. It's called a break-even zone, right? Break-even point. This happens in the markets. The people who had gotten involved at this level, feeling relief, I finally got even, boom, they're out. That's it. So, yeah, Jay-Z talking about kind of a double bottom formation, kind of a similar, definitely if we could get to that level, a lot of people with familiarity and picking up in this zone, right? Absolutely, who did extremely well. Probably an incredible amount of demand down there, right? If we can isolate and remove the potential fundamentals, i.e. including regulations, regulatory framework could be huge in 2022. I hope it helps in terms of the exchanges. That's all I'm going to say. I hope it helps in terms of the exchanges. We have this dynamic going on with no real demand for the coin right now necessarily. That's where I think Bitcoin could. I thought this the other day, guys. We don't talk about this. Cornering the market. Cornering the market. Who wants to corner the market on Bitcoin? You guys know throughout your historical studies of the market and everything else, you know what cornering the market is. Well, there's 21 million of those. Okay, 21 million. All right, so what do we need to do to be able to put together? We want to own all of them. We want the majority share interest or all of the Bitcoin, right? Those discussions, I'm sure, are being had while it's on the table in terms of international use and sovereigns involved in it, etc. Somebody's got corner Bitcoin on their mind. And I'll tell you this. I say this. I have it on my mind, but you guys probably do too. I mean, sure, of course, we want to corner the market. We'll take the 21 million Bitcoin, but for those who are really savvy in that game, they don't want it up here. No, they may take it up there. Maybe they could pull it off easier. They prefer to have it, somewhere else where it can actually really get done. It's just been so cyclically inclined, so phenomenal in terms of the overall pricing. It has such a great utility. Yeah. So cornering the market, right? You guys can do the history lessons on those, etc. But yeah, owning all the Bitcoin. Someone. No, a lot of people are looking at that. I know. I mean, we're talking about it and thinking about it right now. The big heavy hitters, etc. They'd love to be able to pull that off. So, and as it starts to have more utility in terms of sovereignty, etc., like countries, etc. Yeah, I would really like to see that dynamic, some dynamic like that, where there's just this something. I want some news in 2022, something like, my gosh, we were just expecting like maybe the countries would come out with some different rules for the exchanges or something. Like, wow, we never expected that. Like, I don't know. It's the market has been impressive enough technically and with the price action that I'd like to see something interesting like that occur in 2022. Nothing that's irreparable, but something that's really like, man, can you believe what 2022 did, right? So those are the types of things I'm thinking about in 2022 that could occur. Everyone wants my prediction. It's like, well, I'd rather talk about the people who are trying to corner the market right now, something along those lines, as we talk about gaining an advantage with technicals and where it might go to, right, in terms of the overall. Just the key levels is really easy. It's like, those discussions, people ask me all the time, like, is it going up or is it going down? I'm like, man, if you're not in the market, it's going up and down, right? It's like, well, till what level? Like, you're still not in the market, right? Does it really matter? Not really, right? It matters, yes, overall accumulation, etc. But it's a game of volatility. Like, what's gonna, when's the next? You have to say this. When's the next? What's the price of oil gonna do? Oh, well, the guy who's going to get that right is going to tell you when the next oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz is going to sink. He has to, right? Legitimately, and that's a reasonable way of looking at things. The guy's always right in terms of his predictions on oil and gas. Oh, really? That's perfect. So he knows when the next oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz is going to be sunk, by enemy fire. Oh, okay. Yeah, that guy. We want to talk to that guy now. And that's where we're at in terms of the overall approach. Is like, where is it going? Well, when's the next boat going to get sunk in the Strait of Hormuz? The next oil tanker, or the next launch in the Middle East somewhere. That's in an unfavorable zone, right? So those are the issues you deal with I'd say individuals who aren't really sophisticated to know the impact of global events, of regulations, things like that. You can get a sense of it, but I don't think you do yourself any real credit or justice when you're not speaking, at least in terms of a technical target. Even on that, what happened to our technical target? Well, it didn't fail. Austria, just bam. And I just tell you, when Austria releases news, taxation, and then boom, 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 whoa, okay. I mean, it's 1 + 2 = 3. Yeah, A + B, leads to C. It's real evident in terms of kind of what some of these features are. We can demonstrate the technicals to the extent they're interrupted by some fundamental and real world factors, right? That's just that is the name of the game. So we're going to continue to pay attention to those, stay and remain well informed, and that's just that's the exciting part about the market. That's what makes it the market. It's part of it's kind of like living history, right? It's cool. It's nice in that regard. You guys have seen NEAR, right? You see that on NEAR? I mean, the problem is you're right up against a line of resistance. It's been tough, right? That's a nice bull pennant, right? Yeah. Okay. The problem with the bull pennant, what is it? Well, every bull pennant is asymmetrical triangulation. Nice run up like this is like, no, that's a bull pennant, right? NEAR's a great protocol. I like it. Stack function, bam. We do not want to see that, right? We don't want to see that, right? The stack, the parallel carry-up function. We don't want to see that on NEAR. But on any bull pennant, be prepared for that play. Always be prepared for the carry-up. I call it parity, right? Parity, like pairing. Bring up the level of support to resistance, bam. it can bite you on any single. It's just tough, guys. It can bite you on any single pennant that you choose to play, just any single one. It can hit you. So Near has had great price action, brought it to VIP, etc. Early in this process. Hopefully you guys had a heyday with it. Hopefully you did well with it. Let's see here. Rose doing well today. Just boom, top side of the channel would be nice to see. I'm going to dig through Binance real quickly, see if we have anything to talk about. Rose, Cody, H-bar. See, it's just it's slow. We have 10 coins that are up between 1% and 2 or 3%. That's just it. It's just one of those. The boards aren't lighting up green, right? And some of the green that has been in the markets, we've seen it, and it's just been on, well, something's down 90%, barely hanging on right now. And some of the coins is just, there's a real demand for high quality projects. It's just, there is, from what I've seen, there's just a real demand for high quality projects. So that's, I think that's to the credit of crypto. So looking at this channel formation, right, this is not what I like to see in terms of this just kind of, it's like the dribble zone. It's just like this is going to hold, right? From a trading perspective, when you trade quite a bit, you just know it's like, the sentiment right here is, negative Ghost Rider, the pattern is full, right? It's just, I understand we have a range there, but like I am all about, if I'm trading this, you guys know this, huh? This is the difference between people who trade and don't trade, this and that. I'm all about this right down in here. Like, come on, I'm ready for you. It'd be, nice to get a reversal pattern, nice to fall in the wayside here, something that's gonna mean, let's say in here, nice to get some sort of a reversal pattern. It's still open to that, absolutely. But when you see a channel formation like this, the green section, when you see that channel formation, which we go to the candles, you see that level of resistance support. When you trade, and you guys know that when you trade, you're like, okay, come on, let's go, just get over with it. Let's do it. Come on down. Right, so we'll be paying attention to the technicals, absolutely looking for a reversal, etc. Let's look at the RSI and some other indicators, see if we have any divergences, anything else. Divergences have been really tough to square to align, right? 4-hour hit on the RSI in this level. Also, let's see, on that big pour down on the daily, we had a hit down in this area into the daily RSI, an equivalent CCI, commodity channel index, low in this area, which was nice. In terms of that, we also achieved a bullish divergence on the volume. Okay, let me go into the this is just a let me clear this up just a bit. Let me erase some of these indicators. Let me do this. Boom, take the mean reversion off. Let me take off MRC trend. Let me take off mean reversion. There we go. Now I just have the RSI on the screen. It's kind of easy for you guys to see in blue. Okay, that's the RSI on the daily. Okay, let's line out in terms of Bitcoin where we're at in terms of, yeah, we had a bullish, let's see right in here. Yeah, on that pour down also to about 38.2%, right, to about 42,000. We did achieve at that level a bullish divergence on the MACD. Right, also on the volume, we had a bullish divergence on the volume at that level, so that was a key indicated pickup level. Don't have, and we'll just note for the record, in terms of volume divergences, bullish volume divergences, we also had one at this previous level and around the 30,000. We had another repeat at this level and around that 30,000 when it was hit again. We still went lower, so don't count on signals and indicators as your sole entry or exit strategy. Just don't do it to yourself, guys. You need confirmation. You need all of those indicators, okay? So this is a nice feature. I like the RSI on the screen, just a visual representation of the 30 on the RSI. What happens when we hit? Yes, and part of this song is just annoying. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. So I like the demonstration of the RSI on the screen because we can see it's not a one size fits all easy expected. That's it. It is the cure to what you're doing. Is the RSI? No, not that. Not the MACD. Not the CCI. Not the. You go VWAP to Elliott wave periodic reversal. You can get into whatever you want to get into. No. Yeah, and you guys know is that nope. You have to have a strategy to it. It's not a. It's just not the fairy tale where you get to just make up the end of the story and it's always perfect. It's going to just work out. That you have got to rigorously approach your confirmation, your trades, everything else like that. And still let that in a difficult market, you know, you will encounter some challenge. It's just the way it is, right? And you'll kill it. Sometimes you'll just kill it. Some days you'll look like a champion. Other days you'll be like, well, you know, the hero factor in the market wasn't plugged in, right? It was the market. And you get like that, especially when we're just this tight. Just bam, look at that. That's tight, guys. Look at that. I mean, let's do this. Look, this is just something else, huh? Look how tight this is. That's tight, huh? That's really, really constricted, huh? This was a little bit more open here, even here. You know, that was a little bit more open, but look at that. That's some tight grounds we're in here, huh? We had some nice movement in here. We had some nice movement in here. That's some vertical, nice action, right? And we were tight in this zone here. Let's just, you know, review the price action a little bit. Let's just look at the condition of the market, kind of, you know, provide it with some, a little bit of our insight. Tight in here. That's right. Got out of there, right? We got out of there quickly to another level. It makes a difference, right? Pretty relatively tight in here. Yeah, we definitely got out of there. Boom. So when we're tight, we like to get out of the space, right? We like to move on. This is one of the tightest areas we've had in the market. As you guys look at this area right here, it's one of the tightest zones that we've had as I review without a real big move. And it's making me pay attention to that fact, okay? Previously on retrace, and you guys know this, look at this. On retrace previously, this zone, not bad, huh? Not bad at all. Had multiple moves. 35% moves, boom. Back from that $30,000 level. That's nice volatility, guys. 35%, bam. Right? We have a habit of when we're tightened up, when we're constricted, we like to move out of the zone, right? Or boom, if we slam down into another zone, we have some volatility. This was real tight. If you guys remember this was super tight. You guys remember this? Yeah, that specific portion in here, that was super tight, right? So it's reminding me a little bit of this. It just is. If you guys remember this specific, just chisel down into here. The chisel from like 34,000 after we'd had the 35% moves. The chiseling down 34,000 down to 29,750. Yeah, that was super tight, right? That was the tightest I've seen Bitcoin. This is tight. Without moving out of this zone is tight. Okay? Now we can expand that and say, well, it's really this zone. Okay, we can. We can. It's just I'm ready to move. I'm ready for the market to do something. I think the market is ready for some movement, right? And we've just been the last several days, we've just been it's like locked in to this little zone. It's just like some volatility, nice. People trade, right? Some coins are moving, some other coins are moving, right? There's something to work with. This was so tight, not at all. This was nice, right? Boom, we get up and out. Real constricted up and out. Constricted, we constricted. Every time we're constricted, we move. This, and I was saying that during that stream, not expecting a big move, right? Comparing this and this and this and that, nah, it just wasn't, we didn't have the magnitude in terms of the overall structure. It wasn't a large enough structure to expect a big move. The larger the pattern, the bigger the expected move, generally speaking, right? Micro pattern here, just really squared away, huh? Super squared away. So one of the tightest zones we've been in a while. We can take the entirety of it, just, while we're operating above this previous channel formation. Okay? It's just, we're on the edge of this. Okay? I'm just telling you guys, we're on the edge. You guys know this. I'm just saying you, literally, technically speaking, we're on the edge of absolute push. Okay? I just said that. I'm just, can it hold? Absolutely. We have a lateral line of support, 45,744. I am prepared for bam. I think if I keep saying if you trade a lot, not to question it, not to say anything. If anyone else is listening and they're not and they don't trade, let the technical and this level of support at 45,800 let it cruise to the upside. I'm willing to do that, but I trade. I like to trade at lower time frames and slam in and out. I like flash trading, right? You know, just literally tearing up the map with smaller time frames where I see patterns play out all the time. This right here, boom. I mean, you guys can put a percentage on it, and I say for those of you who do trade, because you know. I mean, you just do. And it's not a, it's not a qualified statement that when I say if you trade, because it takes us out of the hypothetical. Well, what do you say? Well, you said it was going to do this or you said it was going to do that. No. If you trade, you know it's not a hypothetical. No, you know this happens all the time. Absolutely. It's like, well, what's going to happen right now? Well, you know when you trade, you're just prepared for this. Bam. You just are. You know that, right? So I bring it up in that context so that we can have a discussion about it, because it's not, well, London said it was going to do this, he was right or he was wrong. No, I'm speaking from a position of as a trader, being in the market, having dealt with this pattern multiple times. Boom, just no bit. I mean, completely expected, completely within the framework of what I'm looking at right now. And you guys who trade, I just said it again, because you guys do, you trade, you know that. It's like, yeah, so you play this with the understanding that this can just literally dig back down into, and it would be on the daily almost to dig back into that 30 on the RSI. That's why I have that on the screen in blue so we can kind of detail that out. Would be an interesting double hit on the RSI. Don't you know, absolutely, that there are orders waiting. Boom. You know that, huh? I mean, as we deal with, with Wall Street, with different, this line is loaded up. Big time, huh? Absolutely. The targets that you guys got yesterday in the back room, those targets, nope, not that. The targets you guys got in the back room, etc. Yeah, okay. In line with the previous hit, down 38.2, etc. Right? And they're above, right? But you just know the scaling function is there. People are prepared. It's just, if you guys trade a lot, it's just, we don't have to discuss it much. It's just like, yeah, you understand it would be like, oh no, a big deal it would be a huge deal for the market and all the alts and everything else if Bitcoin were to literally just, hammer down through this level to like 40,000, just to, say hello to like 42,000 again or something like that. Wham. It doesn't even, have to last that long necessarily, but we're just on the cliff. We're literally just sitting here. We're just perched up on this level of resistance. Okay, prior resistance to support. And we're just hanging out on it. Like, okay. It's just funny for me because we trade a lot. You guys know that. It's just it is one of those circumstances. Let's see what Jay-Z has to say. One heck of a major move. You got that right. As if it was a bull flag on the daily with a false break above. Hey! You didn't watch my old, I'm glad you brought that up. You didn't watch my old videos, Jay-Z. Yeah, the bull flag on the daily. You didn't see that. Absolutely. No, I did. I brought that up before we broke out of it. Absolutely. Good eye. Yeah. And when did I bring it up? You'll like this, Jay-Z. You're like, no, you didn't. Yeah, I did. It's all over the map. It's all over, it's all over the place. I brought up the bull flag when? To an institutional $500 million investor. It's funny, $500 million capital king. I'll just say that in general. I brought it up in here. Whoa, yeah, I brought it up in here when we were in here and nobody wanted to listen to it. Believe it or not. Yeah, and it's perfectly demonstrated. That's why I brought it up to him and some other people. Like, yeah, no, look at what we're doing here. Because we had set the line of resistance, bam, bam. Yeah, so I'm glad you saw that too. But I brought it up in here, and that was an interesting time to bring it up to people. I was like, no way, London, come on. And I'm like, okay, well, you don't like it, huh? Well, that's what it is. And then, boom. And what's interesting, what happened in the market, is we had a transition where we stopped stacking. We stopped stacking these flagpoles on top. We just did. We were doing that for a lot of 2021. We stopped doing that. We started tucking them down below onto the line of support. Truth. If you really traded 2021, you saw that transition from stacking on top of prior resistance to stacking below on support. Not much of a failure if you really look at what this turned into. Literally only an underperformance of about 15%. Yeah, so that's in line with the conformance, almost expectations of the market at the time, with some interference from Austria, etc. Very interesting, that transition which occurred, because we were stacking them up on top of prior resistance. That's the $105,000 price tag, right? So yeah, I brought that up at right about 40,000. Nobody wanted to hear it, nobody. But glad you brought that up. Very cool. So along that previous resistance, support, cross trend line, right? The resistance to, in the process of support. We want to hold this as well, because we're having the discussion about where we're kind of perched right now. And that is, this on the daily is, right, going to bring up some issues for us on that larger cross trend line, the top of that bull flag, right? Interesting time, huh? We got a lot going on. You got to look at it, because we have this channel cut straight down in through that cross trend line. That's a dangerous channel, guys. You think, huh? It cuts right back through that channel, the overall larger channel. Pretty cool, huh? That's high stake stuff there. That's nice. Get those orders ready at lower levels. So, yeah, let me filter back out and through this. Let me get back. There we go. So, let's see where we're at. Good eye, Jay-Z. Good eye. But you weren't listening. Or I'd be impressed if you brought it up and said, hey, that'd be cool if it were that. I mean, if you just stole, maybe you stole my idea on accident. Huh? Could have been subconscious. Huh? People do that to you sometimes, maybe. You got to join VIP. Shout out to all the VIP. Happy 2022. Looking forward to Freddie getting back in the action in our brand new lead. Guys, you got to check this out. I like this. I just like it. Boom. I like it. Everything's gone Ferrari this year. I want to see you guys driving those things carefully. Don't drive them like I have driven them throughout the years. So perched up on this level of prior resistance, on support, and this is just a difficult channel. Look at this. What does that do? Let's see. All right. For those of you who, okay, look at this. Because we have this cross trend line of resistance to support, right? We're holding that. We were holding it. We rebounded. Now, it's the potential for spill out into the channel that spill out back into, I mean, essentially the main primary operation zone here. Through the resistance, just bam. So we got to pick up support. We got to turn that resistance to support. Technically, yeah, that's kind of the maximum, right? Prior resistance to support. So we did pick up. We hit this line multiple times, 3-4 times. Yeah, bam, 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 carved into it. But now that channel is being challenged. What an interesting hot spot, huh? This whole deal right here, that's a hot zone, isn't it? It is, with the prior resistance. Okay, multiple hits here. Prior resistance, hit, right? Sometimes we'll see like a bull flag, right? Sometimes we'll have a bull flag. And the cool thing is, well, it's nice we have a bull flag. And within that bull flag, we'll have another, or right on the outside, we'll have another micro bull flag. You guys know when you trade, right? We have another micro bull flag. Right? We have a bull flag, and then we just formulated this micro bull flag right up above it. Or we formulated one right below it. Boom. Right? Yeah. And those have distinct characteristics. It's like, you kind of, I shy away from those sometimes. It's like, well, I prefer one that doesn't do a micro set of the macro it's trying to achieve. This is kind of in reverse for the bears. I think it's very interesting. For people who are wanting to short, it's interesting because we're pulling down into, we're on the resistance framework, prior resistance framework, trying to hold support within another resistance framework that would be trying to hold support. So it's a very interesting zone. And you get the analogy with the bull flag with the micro bull inside of it. This is a prior resistance trying to hold support, pouring back into a prior resistance, larger framework, trying to hold support. So Very interesting zone. I know you guys are ready with your targets at lower levels. And it just doesn't feel like, I'm going to say this, it doesn't feel like we've really settled into anything here. It's been choppy, it's really highly constricted, right, et cetera, in this zone. We haven't reestablished a trend at all, right? This prior zone was easy, not easy, but it made sense because essentially we were just doing a repeat of the earlier year's bull flag. Just the truth, right? Let's do, where's my scuba mask? You know, we had this. We had this in early 2021. Right on. We had that repeat. We had what? There you go. Boom. Easy stuff. Literally just like textbook. Talking about it the whole time. Tell them, don't worry. Gonna go down. Gonna look like this, etc. Probability. Could, may occur, etc. All the qualifications. No guarantee, but yeah, be prepared for this. I think it was the language. Be prepared for this to really, to really settle in and to be shocked with how low it feels like it's going, right? That was the idea. Because what? It did that in early January 2021. Boom. Everyone felt like, oh, it's, the sky is falling. No, that's just Bitcoin, right? So the repeat. And we had that here after the run up. We don't necessarily have that here. So when I say settled in, like here this turned into a massive formation, visible on the larger time frames. We don't have that right now. We haven't really settled into anything. So it's going to take some more patience, right? As we look at this level of support, right? It holding. It's going to take a little bit more patience. Can we have a hit within the range? Sure, right? Some exposure, indicator you want to trade? Sure, why not? You want to carry a position and trade? Nice. It's just, it's been a tight market. You guys know that. Especially if you're trying to trade breakouts and you want a big percentage gain, it's just been tight. It's literally held your feet to the fire every time and said, okay, here's a little bit of a gain, just a touch. You get a little bit of a gain or you're going to pay to get it out of the trade. It's just, last night Luna did that to me. I was up 4 or 5%. I'm like, it's about to break out. It's about, it's just completed a reversal. And it was like the, multiple trade in a row. It's like, no, you're going to take the money that's on the table right now. It's not going to be as much as you want. Or, go ahead and roll the dice for the next time. Try and make a decent return. That's all we're trying to do. Make a decent return in the trade. Try and get the market to perform. Feel satisfied at the end of the trade. That's it. And no, you're either going to take the 3 or 4% or that's it. I'm like, well, just, do it again. That's fine. Just do it again. You'll pick up. The market will pick up. It'll be back for the roaring 20 and 30-day green days. It just will. It just, as a matter of fact, it likes to do that. If nothing more, to wipe out the shorts. It's going to, it has a habit of doing that. So, yeah, Luna underperformed. Just no volume at all, right? So, BTC back at it. All right, so that's my caution right now is that I don't like this zone on the resistance, prior resistance here, boom, boom, to support. We've capitulated back. I understand the lateral support, but me as a trader, I'm just, I am fully prepared. I would be like 8 days a week, guys, fully prepared to see this thing just come back down in here and just dart back down in here. I'd be fully prepared for it. Now, Bitcoin may, with me being prepared for that, would love to shock everybody with a reward to all those going short right now, because shorts have got to be loading up right now. On that, you're just crawling the wall on here, just trying to hold this as support. Really frustrating. Yeah, shorts are just, going crazy right now. They're loving it. So yeah, exchanges would love just go wham and just wipe them out, right? So we'll see how you guys want to trade it. That's what I like about VIP. Like, I don't have to, I don't tell them how to trade. They're just like, no, they got it, right? You guys, you showed up that way. That's cool. So a lot of red, not much green. Phantom trying, Rose trying, near trying, but yeah, not a whole lot going on. So what I'll say, guys, just wanted to come with you with a few diagnostics, cover this line of previous resistance to support. I appreciate you guys being in VIP. If you're not VIP, guys, you got to become VIP. It's 2022. I just messed it up for the first time. 2022, and I want a good group, right? We rely on our own TA. We don't borrow charts. We don't do this. We don't look on Google. We have our materials. Just, whatever you're packing, just, you do your work, right? That's what I'll recommend to everybody. You're very intelligent people. I know that. I appreciate knowing you, the opportunity to know you guys. We'll come up with some more potential 2x, 3x ideas. Citus recently, 2x. right? That was last week. About every week we have 1, 2x or something like that. Just on the side, right? I know you guys have larger investments you're really worried about. So we're going to be in the back, focused on technicals. I'll be back there with VIP. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. And we'll be in touch very, very soon. This is London with Crypto Kingdom and Bitcoin Spike. Remember, eat well, sleep well, and remember to invest in those relationships that you knew were